Get off there. That's a shelf that's not going to hold your weight.
Oh, Elliot getting all, why do we have to keep doing the soundboard when we just got on the fucking air? Jesus.
Because I want to.
All right, I'm gonna have to disable that. I'm gonna have to disable that fucking thing.
Aww.
No.
Come on, Joe. I know people. I know somebody here has been abusing the soundboard, but come on. I mean, we need to use it for like humor's sake. Oh yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the shenanigans that's going on right now.
He's just mad that his ear got it first.
Well, no, because when I get up from a nap, usually I get very sound sensitive, so it takes my body a while to get used to sounds again. So that's why.
Oh yeah.
You know, warned me that you woke up from a nap. I wouldn't done it.
Well, look, even if I had told you, it would actually be like a long explanation of like how this works, because it's not just so much of like, oh, hey, nap-wise, you know, you'd have to go into like explicit detail over it.
Dude, I know you're
sorry
autistic
about the
and y'all
sad
have
horn.
sensory stuff. Stop.
What'd you say, Circus?
I said, I know y'all are autistic, so I know that y'all have certain sensory issues. So
Yes.
I wouldn't understand.
Well, we're actually getting close to June, if you believe it or not.
I know, right?
Yeah, we're getting up. We're
Feels
getting
so
there.
weird to say that.
It's already fucking feeling like summer here.
I mean, it already technically is summer. If you follow the movie season calendar, May is technically when summer starts, because that's when everybody gets off of school.
Yeah.
Specifically, college kids. College kids usually get off during the summer, so that's like, oh, hey, we got to make sure they get into the theaters, because you know.
Hello.
Echo.
See, I told you he could come to you.
Say hi, Elliot. He's being shot. Oh, wait. He wants to be held.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Sometimes he jumps on my desk, and he has it so that I put my arms down, and then he just lays there in them. So it's like I'm holding him, but he can leave on his own terms. Oh, no, ow.
Sounds like someone's murdering you with his mittens.
Yeah.
Murder mittens.
Trying to walk on my bare leg
Mm.
with his untrimmed murder mittens.
I'm trying to get to the website right now. I'm trying to
get into the website.
to get to the website of YouTube, and
you know, I was about to say we don't even have a website. None of us are web designers. We can't have, the laundromat can't have its own business website yet. We don't even have like the right things to put into it, you know? We don't have the prices up to tell people how much to charge for clothes and everything. Like, and it's like, well, you gotta stand there or not, because there's a standing fee.
Now with Mr. Krabs as our manager.
Oh, God.
No, I'm
Oh, no.
not hiring him. Are you kidding me? The guy would take all the money for himself. I'm like, no, there's still other people that work here.
Dude,
Trying to milk this place for all it's worth.
Shane needs a freaking bath because he sees the high heaven. Either he's smoking too much pot or he haven't bathed in like 20 years. So
God.
No, wouldn't be hired if that was the case.
That's right.
I don't know. I think
Just
he's a little
hiring
bit
someone
weird.
like that is at a laundromat would be like hiring someone who abuses animals at a pet store.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's probably in the bathroom smoking something up. Just don't know what.
He would get fired if that was the case, because we can't have like that. We can't have that type of stuff in there.
Well, you know who owns this laundromat. He's probably selling for him for all you know.
Well, no, that wouldn't be allowed either.
So, Junko reported to me that Mr. Chicken has been pecking at her head. Apparently, he runs the gate.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah.
Purgatory.
Apparently, Korn is now just like the arbitrator of purgatory, like the ending of Lost. And it's like, well, I'm gonna put y'all into heaven now. Y'all earned it, even though like you're all fucked up on this island. We're all gonna send you to heaven, and some of you are just gonna stay in purgatory because you just refuse to get inside the church.
Like I told you, you big fucking chicken. I don't fucking believe in religion. You fuck.
Well, no, they did. None of them necessarily did either, and they still got to go to it.
I don't care. Get the goddamn chicken off my head, Mr. Leany.
Why is she Southern now?
I don't know.
She went complete lot of heart now. She's forgetting like which game we're playing. At
Like,
this particular
no,
time.
I swear to God, that fucker's accent is like rubbing off on me. I don't know why I went Southern. Oh my goodness.
Okay, now you've turned Valley Southern Girl, which I didn't even know that was a thing.
Good. Get used to it. Like, oh my God.
You guys you're just like taking it at the bottom of the barrel at this point.
Yep. Anyways.
Challenge.
Well, I found out something fun this week that I didn't even realize.
What?
Well, I found out that we're getting. Well, I mean, I knew that this was happening, but they're already doing video clips of it from the set. But we're getting Good Burger 2, the long-awaited sequel,
Oh.
When was
From-
the last movie?
1996.
I think it was like in the 1996.
Oh shit, that's a long time.
Yes, technically, it will be almost 30 years.
And they're still working at a fucking Good Burger. I mean, like, come on. Grow up, Ed.
Well, no, they probably run the place now. Because
I doubt that.
Because remember, somebody had to buy the restaurant away from Asshole. Because Asshole ran the play. Not only directed the movie, but was in charge of Nickelodeon. But he put himself in the movie as like the owner of the place.
Wait, Mr. Footman?
Yes, I'm just calling him Asshole as reference.
For most of y'all who don't know, Dan Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. But Mr. Footman, as we call
No, I just call him Asshole. Yeah, so somebody would have to buy the restaurant from him then.
No.
If that's the case.
him. He finally ate his mama.
No, his mother would be dead by now.
Exactly. He fucking killed her in the 90s. Cannibalized.
No, this is what? Why?
Like weird Ed Gein style.
Yeah. Now you're going into.
Damn it.
Now you're going
into cat food to his mom. Come on.
No. Well, we're gonna talk about the movie anyway because it's interesting.
What the fuck is going on here?
You're going into David Lynch territory now.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Is this ain't Hannibal Lecter? Come on.
Oh, trust me, I've gone insane a little bit since Wednesday.
Yay. Not to that.
Yeah, I was about to say what? Why is that cheering? Why is that cheering?
That's terrible.
I need a challenge that I lost a moment ago.
Genshin Impact?
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds
Defeat
me.
2 Fire Abyss mages in less than a minute.
Which reminds me, I'm going to have to download that pretty soon. I got it on my computer.
And I got another shiny today.
Did you get another Gyarados?
It wasn't a Gyarados. The one that was made into an air boss, but I'm not going to, upgrade it. I'm going to keep it as is.
Yeah.
You mean,
Elliot,
I don't know their fucking names. Let's get to the subject at hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to talk about that Pokemon. Anyway, so I mean, it's. I mean, from what I understand, it's basically Keenan and Kel just bought the restaurant now, and they're trying to bring it back to its former glory. So that's what it seems like it is, because the Burgermobile made an appearance, because they were actually taking videos of them in the cars, and Ed was in like full costume, and Keenan was just hanging out, just like in his regular clothes. But it's amazing just how much, like, I can't even understand, like, I can't even, like, recognize Kel's voice anymore. Like, it's like Keenan sounds the same and looks the same from years back, but Kel is definitely, you could definitely tell that Kel has aged a lot, and you can't even recognize his voice.
Probably a smoker.
Like,
Probably,
does
yeah.
it, like, is deeper? Or?
Yeah, it's definitely deeper, but it's definitely, like, very gravelly.
Well, they were like in their early 20s when they filmed the first one, wasn't they?
Well, I mean, let's see. They did Keenan and Kel the show when they were 18, and that was around the same time that Good Burger, the movie, was out. So, yeah, they were 18.
Mm-hmm. Of course they're going to change.
Well, I mean, they're in their 40s now, so... They were saying, like, they wanted to get some cameos from Queen Latifah and, like, Janet Jackson. Like, that's what they were talking about. So apparently there's going to be some celebrities in this movie, because it's going to be on Paramount Plus. This is not going to be a theater movie, so it's going straight to Paramount Plus. So
of course, because a lot of
direct
kids
stream
know what the hell that is.
No, because it's Nickelodeon, and they're going to obviously be making the movie because Paramount owns Nickelodeon. So they're going to be like, yeah, this doesn't deserve to be on. It's kind of like Coming to America 2 that Amazon Prime did. Like, that doesn't need to be in the theaters. Like, the movie's so old. Like, just put it on there for, like, everybody to just watch at home.
Fuck's sake, they should have just made a sequel when it was still popular.
Well, I mean, because by the time Keenan and Kel ended the show, like, those two split up and they went off to do their own separate things. Like, 'cause I think their contracts were up. Like, Kel didn't even do anything. Like, he did the Like Mike 2 sequel, and that was really, like, his claim to fame after that. And then Keenan obviously did the movie that was also made by another asshole, which we don't talk about. And then, yeah, he got once on Keenan gone on SNL, that pretty much resurrected everything about him, like in 2008.
Like Captain Asshole or something?
Well, not Captain Asshole. Let's just call him let's just call him Dad Asshole.
I don't even know who the fuck we're talking about. I'm zoned out.
Did you smoke before this show?
No, I didn't. I have nothing to smoke, to be honest.
You know, it's funny. Kind of off the subject, but when I was at TBY yesterday. For any Midwesterners that know, it's actually called the country's best yogurt. My grandmother was craving some, and I went in. As I was waiting, someone was actually playing that new Captain Underpants movie. When I watched a little bit of the scene with Nick Kroll's voice, and it's like, I know it's kind of off subject, but I just thought I'd bring it up because.
That's all right. I went into a pizza parlor and they're playing fucking Monsters Inc. in there, so I'm like, okay.
I wonder what does the yogurt have to do? What does Captain Underpants have to do with yogurt? I'm just wondering.
Well, I went to Burger King. They were playing that Nutcracker movie, not the one with Macaulay Culkin, but the one that came out like in the early 2010s, I think, or late 2010s.
Oh, okay.
They play movies in there?
It was on their TV, so I don't know what. They probably had it on some channel that was playing it. I know they had it on Freeform when I went to that pizza parlor.
Same with the TCBY.
Anyways, back to Good Burger.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Oof. I can feel that Blue Moon ice cream coming up. Damn it.
So I'm trying to think like what else that they could bring back in terms of it. But I'm gonna go through the movie, like the original, and try to see if like some things that they can actually put in this sequel. Because as far as I know, there will be cameos, and it's probably gonna be like a lot of people. Because I know Jimmy Fallon definitely is gonna be a cameo because that's how they announced the movie actually coming to be. They both appeared on Jimmy Fallon, and they made the announcement. And apparently, it was all because of the sketch they did on the show like 6 years ago. And so they said,
want to know.
What?
I just want to know what happened to Kurt after he got arrested.
Well, he'll probably be making it'll probably be a resurgence of Mondo Burger.
Well, that's the thing. The guy who fucking retired after like a few years, they came back and then retired again because he was in a car accident.
Well, maybe they could bring him back for like maybe he can come back like maybe he could say like, this is what jail did to me. Like they could say like he'd been in jail for 30 years or something like that, and he's like, I'm finally out of jail and I'm gonna put Good Burger out of business by bringing back Mondo Burger.
That's the thing. Like, when I was a kid, I actually wanted to visit Mondo Burger because the way it looked, it looked very fucking cool.
Well, let's talk about the movie then. We can go over all of it. So, like one of the like they'll probably have like a weird like dream sequence again, like in the beginning of the first movie, because Ed is just dreaming about having flying with hamburgers that have sentience.
And
then he
oh my god, that was nightmare fuel.
Well, look, I mean, first of all, he's like, "Whoa, I'm flying with hamburgers," and then he just falls down a pit for no reason. So I'm wondering if there's just gonna be like some weird dream sequence again afterwards.
I love it. Whoa, a clock! The clock was going off.
Apparently, he never gets out of that uniform, even when he showers. So he sleeps in his uniform, he showers in his uniform. And apparently, and I definitely know those are fake dreads because I actually saw the prop when I went to Nickelodeon Studios in '96 because they had just got done filming the movie in California, but they brought it all the way back to Orlando, or they had another set of dreads with the hat. But you know, people don't know all that was shot in Orlando, Florida, for years.
Yeah.
And so one of the things they did when we were doing the tours, like, anybody know what this is? And like, oh, that's Ed's hair. And I'm like, wait a minute, why did you shave his head? And they said, no. And they were like, no, this is a prop. That's not his real hair.
You can see, like, the prop
studio where there was a time capsule.
Yeah.
The what?
There was. Then they moved to LA when that studio closed.
Yeah, because that was the one thing about Nickelodeon Studios that was a big stopping ground for a lot of people in the 90s. They filmed a lot of their shows there. Like all their game shows were filmed there. A lot of their sitcoms were filmed there. Like Kenan and Kel was filmed there too. I mean, I remember a friend of mine that lived in the neighborhood said he went to go see a Kenan and Kel episode being recorded. So it was. I mean, at first I thought they were shooting it in Orlando, but then they were like, "Oh no, they're doing it over in Los Angeles," because otherwise, how can they get Shaq there? Because Shaq at the time, Shaq's first team when he played basketball was for Orlando, and then he got signed over to Los Angeles. So I'm like, oh, I was like, damn it. Well, I'll get to Shaq later, but. Yeah, it was filmed in L.A. and you could definitely tell because of the opening sequence where it's Kel on the roller skates and it's like all the debauchery that happens. And apparently like Ed's the only one that could take orders at the Good Burger restaurant for some reason. Like nobody else can do it, so everyone's just keep looking for Ed, and there's like a line of customers just waiting to get their food.
Yeah,
because apparently he's late for work. Trying to remember the opening sequence. Like he runs into like a group of girls that are doing jump rope. He runs into the girl that's in the middle of the jump rope, and yet somehow, I don't know how this happens, but she ends up her feet ended up getting tied up by the jump rope, and Ed's like tied up to the jump rope, and as he's roller skating, like the girl who's got her legs tied up in the jump rope is being dragged by Ed, and she's hitting her head against the concrete.
Oh.
Then he runs into a mother with a baby afterwards.
Yes. Which by the way, think about this. Like, this is the '90s, so but I'm sure a lot of people were complaining about this. Like, Ed, a black man, is all of a sudden going up to this white woman taking her baby. I mean, that is like completely that's like a completely racist thing they just did right there. Like, how did that not get through the censors? It was like, probably not the best idea.
Let's not forget him shooting the baby up in the air like a basketball.
No, that was that was a basketball player that did that, and then he's just like, huh? How did this happen?
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. It's like, yeah, that was like a series of bizarre events just happened on his way to work like that. And that's what I mean, but that's what we learn about Mondo Burger anyway. Because it's like, Mondo Burger's like a very futuresque type of burger place. Like,
exactly.
Like, everything is chrome. Like, even the burgers look like something from like 2050 or something.
Well, if you think about it, in the late 90s, everybody expected the new millennium. This is how everything's supposed to look like. Chrome, like glossy fucking looking clothes, Jetsons, basically.
Yeah.
At the same time, they all look like they were from the 60s as well. In some of the costumes.
And look what we got instead. Just absolute bullshit.
You just got the same thing.
Yeah.
Except, like, fast food logos just changed their shit around just a little bit, and nothing's really changed. Like, I went to a McDonald's.
And a lot of fast food places, like, their buildings look so boring now.
I know. Like, McDonald's looks like something a hipster would go to and shit. Back when we were kids,
the buildings are all in shape now, and the logos are simplified, and what the hell?
Yeah, they got rid of all the red and the yellow, and they started like incorporating more like standard colors that you would see. Yeah, like you would see in everything else, like more white. And I'm like, it's like when you know that they start going white, that's when you know it's getting bad. Like I was at a McDonald's with my friend over the New Year's weekend, and we went there, and I haven't been to a McDonald's in years, and I'm just like, okay, food tastes the same, but it's just the atmosphere just feels weird. Like, it doesn't even feel like a fun place.
Oh gosh, food, water, atmosphere.
I mean, come on, when I went to Chuck E. Cheese for a birthday party recently, I even thought the dance floor was a stupid idea, to be honest. It all looks not fun and dull and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, BurgerFi is probably like the one place that I go to that actually looks like the closest to Mondo Burger. Like, it's actually in the title, like BurgerFi. Like, everything looks futuresque. The way you can order is, like, pretty unique. Like, you just go up there, you get the food, and they just bring it by your number and everything, which is pretty cool.
Mooney, why are you sending us Barbie stuff?
Oh, because the Barbie trailer came out recently?
Oh, yeah, I was just about to mention that drop.
But this is, it's a shit post, but it's really a parody, but it shows Jolene and Anna Sui from Stone Ocean.
I have an anti-week coming up in 2 weeks. My niece is probably wanting me to take them to see that.
Oh, God.
Oh, well, once that movie comes out, we can talk about it. But anyway.
Yeah.
But at least they used the Barbie Girl song a little bit in the movie.
A little bit. I want them to use it in every single scene. Listen, I want Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie to actually sing the song. Like, with their actual voices, not lip sync. The actual sing it.
I'm a Barbie girl.
In a Barbie world.
I mean, I've told the story about the jukebox before, but one of the things that I did one time is I actually sang it like Strong Bad and Homestar. By accident. By complete accident. Like, all of a sudden, like, was like, why do you sound like Strong Bad as Ken? I'm like, I don't know. Anyway. Anyway, getting back to the Good Burger stuff.
Cool.
So, like, one of the things also that my dad, because when my dad watched the movie with me, it's like, wait a minute, how did they get one of the actors from Godfather in this movie? And I'm like, wait a minute. Because I recognize them, because I recognize them too, because I watched the, like, Otis, like the old guy. Apparently he was, not apparently, like I've seen him in Godfather. But I was like, oh, hey, yeah, that's the guy that got whacked at the, like, near the end of the movie, right? It's like, yeah, that's the guy that got whacked.
Yeah, Joey. Sorry.
I mean, I was.
Witness protection now in Good Burger.
Just to let everyone know, that was a Pringles can. I'm laying my head against it. It fell.
That's like, listen, look, Ed, you can't tell anybody, but I used to live in New York City. All right, I used to be a part of a very powerful family, and now I'm just trying to hide out here. So I'm just making the fries, and that's all I'm doing.
That's why he knows how to drive away and get away ice cream truck.
Oh, no, we'll get...
It reminded me of
yeah, we'll get
that
to
one
that.
character from Joe Dirt.
Which one?
The janitor.
Oh, yeah. Christopher Walken character.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, so I thought my dad got a kick out of that. It's like, okay, at least they have one good actor in this movie, because he realized, because if you take a look at it, Asshole's an actor in it. Abe's like the only one that's got a pedigree in acting. The vegetarian, I don't know what happened to her. Monique, I don't know what happened to her. I know Dan from the All That cast was like one of the cast. One of the
I know
employees.
about the Monique character. She's Kevin Federline's his baby mama before Brittany.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's her.
Fuck.
Obviously. So I wonder if she's still acting then. But what was it? Oh, there's Spatch, the guy that doesn't say anything but apparently likes to eat flies off a spatula, like off his own head.
Ew,
after he kills it.
ew.
PTSD, everybody.
Yeah, it's like, why they put that in there? It's like, oh, it's funny. The guy eats flies. So it's like, no, that's not funny. But then again, Asshole had a weird sense of humor. Or just an asshole sense of humor. But then yeah, and then Sinbad was also in the movie, because Sinbad played the one of the villains of the movie, and I put those in quotes because obviously Sinbad was supposed to be the villain to Keaton's character, but apparently he's like a Black Panther activist that's also teaching. Which, I mean, is pretty kick-ass, so I don't know why he's considered the villain. But then, of course, Asshole probably was like, oh, I'm getting sick and tired of all these Black Panthers and all this, like, Black Power and brother stuff, so I'm sure I can get Sinbad to help me make fun of him. And then, of course, Sinbad's character becomes the butt of all the jokes in the movie. So I'm like, oh, great. So we're having a Black positive character in this movie, and yet he's, like, the butt of all the jokes, because he's trying to ruin poor Keenan's life. But I mean, think about it. Keenan not only like steals his mom's car because she's on her way on business, but like he doesn't even have a license to drive the car. Steals the car so that he can just like joyride all over the place. And then like this is how he wants. If I remember how he wants to spend his summer vacation correctly,
he's Chinese food, call honeys up, and sleep all day. That's how I remember it.
Well, he's going to wake up at noon, he's going to lay by the pool, order some Chinese food, and then invite women over, and then roll them too. I don't know what that means. And then he's like...
Are we using the car?
Oh, he's going to get all the hot women in his car, and he's just going to be a joyrider. But and then he's like, then I'm going to wake up the next morning and do it all over again. I'm like, that sounds like a pretty boring summer, to be honest. If you're just going to keep doing the same thing, I'm like, okay, Chinese food for lunch again. Like waking up at the same time every day. Okay. Sometimes that pool's just going to get boring. And I'm sure women are just going to get like fed up with your bullshit. So they're just going to be like, huh. what am I going to do now? Am I going to have to go over to the Playboy Mansion, or am I going to have to try to sneak my way into like one of those titty twister bars? I don't know.
I'm sorry, but his character wasn't the man that most 90 women would go for back in the day. So I don't see how he would got any women back then.
Well, you know, it's that arrogance, it's that cocky arrogance that men had back then. It's like, oh, hey, it's like
How much was that just wished fulfillment?
Probably that too. Because, Liz, you got to remember, Fresh Prince was just ending around that time, and of course, like he was the Fresh Prince was considered like a cultural icon. It's like, ooh, if I modeled myself after him. But then again, even in the show, Will didn't get. I mean, he got women, but they all ended up leaving him anyway. Like he even got stood up on his own wedding day. That's like how bad it got.
Even though this poor motherfucker was in a plane with her dad. And he got banded by.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. They actually talk about that in this movie, too, when they're up on the roof, but we'll get to that. I mean, like, during the joyride, like, Ed's, like, doing a delivery on his roller skates because apparently, like, Ed's not even supposed to do the delivery, but it's like, well, I fired the guy that does it because he showed up to work without his pants.
No. Because the boy didn't showed up without his pants.
Yeah, it's like, oh. So he's got to do the delivery, and of course he just happens to be crossing the street. By the way, Keenan must have been going like 90 miles an hour on that street, because that was definitely joyriding. That's like Fast and Furious type speed that he was doing. And then of course Fast and Furious. Especially since Fast 10 just came out. But what was it? Like Keenan ends up like spinning the car around because he's like, "Oh shit, I'm about to hit this like guy in some rollerblades." They can't even tell. Like I don't. Okay, obviously Keenan's at fault because like the rite of passage always goes to the person that's going across the street. So because as we all know, what's that?
Keenan's friend in the car is actually Roger from fucking Sister.
Yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And which, by the way, funny fact about Sister. Oh God, I think one of the writers for Kenan and Kel actually also did the writing for Sister as well. So that's that connection right there. Yeah, because I also found out that one of the kids from the Asshole show from the 80s went on to become like a director and a writer. He actually directed one of the Kenan and Kel episodes, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, so they're like they all have like this connection there. But yeah, so he ends up crashing the car and it ends up being Sinbad's car. It's like, okay, that's comic relief right there. Yeah, and then he's like, okay, I'll get a summer job. Because he really... Well, how much was the car worth in damages? $1,900.
That's like barely anything now.
Yeah, but, I mean, for a kid like him, well, if we're counting inflation, okay, all right, we're gonna have to do the inflation calculator. Hold on, I gotta get an inflation calculator going. But remember, like, I'm sure he's not going to want to call his mom because that was the whole reason why he's like, I'm getting a summer job. Like, I don't want to tell my mom that I crashed her own car.
And he was starting to call the cops on him. He's like, I don't want to put a brother in jail.
Oh, yeah. It's like, okay, that's the other thing too. Like, would you really do that to, like, would you really do that if you really cared about, if it really was like BLM, like, would you really want to try to do that? It's like, no, here, let's just straighten this out. Like, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so $1,900 in 1996 compared to today. Oh, it's about $3,700 in today's money. And that's not even counting the $800 that he had to spend on his mom's car. Okay, so he would have to earn about $5,000 from working. So yeah, that's why Kenan went to Mondo Burgers so that he can get like, oh, which by the way, Here's the good thing about Mondo Burger. They actually, no, this is not a good thing, but it's like better than what they were getting paid over at Good Burger. Let's be fair. Mondo Burger, they got paid $10 an hour. Which I know, like, even back then, people were still asking for 15. But at Good Burger, you get paid $5 an hour.
Which is a standard 90 thing.
Which is lower than the national average, which is $7.25. So if you think about it, Asshole really was an asshole in playing his employees.
Even in the 90s?
Yes.
This was, okay.
Yeah, the national average has not moved in 30 years. Even with inflation the way it is. That's why people have been asking for a 15 minimum wage increase so that it can catch up to inflation. And even then they're saying that's not enough. Like, we need to go even higher. But yeah, at least with Mondo Burger they're doing 10. But Keenan was like the only person that can't assemble a burger properly. Which, I mean, I don't blame him because I considering all of the stuff that they were asking to put on the burger. And they were almost doing it like a conveyor belt type system because you had the one guy in the backer going bun, patty, topping, sauce, assemble. Like it was almost like being in an army drill of some kind. They were treating it like it was an army,
or like an assembly line at a factory.
Yeah, except that they don't have somebody constantly in their ear going this like da 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 da. And it's like, oh, the pickles are slippery. That's why it's not going on the burger.
They didn't ask for pickles, sir.
Yeah, that's when we get introduced to Kurt and his whistle, because apparently Kurt just goes around with a whistle.
Bruh.
I'm surprised they got that freaking Kurt seeing him naked joke by the censors a bit.
Oh, we'll talk about that whole scene because right now we're just like it's like look at all this mess you made. It's like, no, I can explain. And of course he's like, oh, again with the whistle.
I don't blame him. I'd be screaming because they got the whistle.
You know, it's like, listen, I'll be a lot more quiet. I'll be a lot more quiet if you stop blowing the whistle. And it's also weird too. Like, it almost feels like it. I don't know why this didn't get caught by the censors, but it's like very weird. I wonder if this was like the intended thing. It's like, oh, look at this like poor black guy that's getting picked on by his bosses who just happen to be white and they're all guys. It's like, oh, are we going for the whole like slave thing here going on? Is that like the type of story that we're trying to do with this hero and villain here? Because it feels like it.
Like. That's what I was thinking too. We're on the same brain cell here.
Oh yeah, and then Kurt gives it like that big epic speech on top of the sign for some reason. He's like, Mondo Burger's going to be the biggest burger chain on this planet. And
Kurt's your mother and your father.
Yes, that was weird too. Like, what boss says that? You can get sued. You can get sued if you say that.
Dude, he looked like a fucking dictator on that.
Yes. That's totally.
Like, bro, sit your ass down, sir.
That's totally fascist behavior. It's like, because Kurt is now both your mother and your father. I was like,
here goes the. I bet Kurt looks funny naked.
Yeah, that's where the joke then comes in. I was like, Keenan, why are you thinking of this guy naked? Is there something you're not telling us?
Like, sir,
that's like an awful joke, and currently, like in our age and stuff, that's kind of fucked up.
Well, what's also messed up is Kurt speaking in the third person.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. I mean, then again, there are some people that do speak in third person.
Yeah, it's like
you mess.
Yeah, it's like you mess with Kurt and you go into the grinder.
What is this grinder you're talking about?
It's like, is it a real grinder or is this some kind of metaphor? And I'm like, oh my God, they put a gay joke in a movie. Back in those times.
Oh my God.
I was like, wow, that's pretty ballsy.
I didn't even get that because I was a kid back then. Holy shit.
I was
They
like,
did
that's
not give that many fucks in the 90s.
Yeah, they went all forward on that, and I didn't catch up on it until I was much older when my friends and I rewatched it in our 20s, and we're like, oh my god, he just called him gay.
That's the thing. Like, I never noticed until you said something. I'm like, oh shit, that is. Oh,
They're all
Funny
like,
how they
oh,
used to sneak that shit in.
I'll tell it. It's like, crap really did go. Shit really went past their sensors on that one. Got past the radar.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the Grinder, the app wasn't even out yet, but I mean, it was a pretty common, term back then. So, like, the think that they put that in there, it's like,
Oh yeah,
awesome.
foreshadowing.
And considering some of us here are queered, it's like, oh wow, how did we not pick up on that as kids? Probably
how
still
the hell
trying.
I didn't pick up on it now?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that ends up getting Keenan fired. So I'm like, hey, what a way to go out. But I mean, he really needed the job, so it's like, I'll take it all back.
Well, Kurt does look gay. I hate to say it.
Well, I mean, it's a lot more accepting in California. That's probably no, it's like still one of the most positive places out in the in America.
Back then, I was thinking maybe during the 90s it wasn't.
Listen, there's probably a whole thing about Kurt like not accepting the fact that he's like got feelings for other guys and like the things and the fact that he likes things big. So I mean that's probably why he went into his whole fascist type of behavior. It's like, I gotta prove that I'm a straight man, and the only way I could do that is by running a burger company and making things bigger.
Oh, I thought he was just compensating for his penis size, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was actually thinking. He was like trying to compensate for the fact he might have a
Normally,
tiny
people like that
kill-
usually buy like large,
like
obnoxious
a kielbasa.
cars.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Kurt's trying to buy a fucking
yeah.
restaurant.
at least it's not like a little tiny sausage thing compared to a kielbasa.
Oh, this is like one of my favorite. Going into the next scene, like this is one of my favorite things. Like, there's a customer complaining because he got a good burger with nothing on it, and Kel's like, "Well, that's what I gave. That's what I gave you." And I'm like, this is one of my theories. Like, Ed is autistic, like, because he takes everything literally. Like, even like when the construction owner at the beginning of the movie is like, "Can I get 2 good burgers?" Like, "Oh, sorry, dude, I have to go get them. Customers aren't allowed in the back." He's like,
well, how everything is with him. Yeah, I believe he is.
I mean, because there's also a lot of other clues that I picked up on later on, and I'm like, is this like intentional? Did they really just turn him into like the like one of the first, like, besides Rain Man? Because at the time, Rain Man was like the one autistic character that everybody was like, "Oh, so this is what autistic people are like." We're like, no. But Ed was like,
ignorant flex of, you know what?
I mean, Ed really surprised me, like, later on in the movie with that whole plot thing.
Oh, we'll get into that. But like going so far as to say, it's like, well, that's what I gave you. You wanted nothing on it, so I just gave you I just gave you buns because a meat patty is something. You said nothing. Like that, because that's the type of thing. Like, if I was like still a teenager, like that's the thing that I would be arguing with the customer over. It's like, well, if you wanted a beef patty, just say you wanted a beef patty.
And then he gets his friend Josh on it, or Fizz as his name is in the movie.
Yeah, Fizz is
beef patty something or nothing.
Something. I win.
I'll see you now. Okay, see you there.
Okay, I'll see you there.
Yep, and that's my cousin actually used that when he was when he was working when he was doing grocery bagging at like his convenience store over in San Diego, and he actually used that line on a customer that was treating him like shit.
Yeah. Mad respect, though.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the jacuzzi scene.
Oh, well, yeah, the whole strawberry jacuzzi thing where it's like, did you turn? You just turn on the switch.
They had to fucking fix it because they thought it was broken when we forgot to turn this.
Which by the way, now that all that strawberry shake is contaminated, so they got to throw out everything because he's bathing in it pretty much.
That's all right. He's gonna go for a strawberry jacuzzi.
Hi, Manison.
Hi.
But
Hi.
I was like, that's a firing offense. I mean, that's a firing offense. Like, if Gordon Ramsay walked in on Good Burger, he'd be like, why is that guy bathing in the squishy machine? I was like, first of all, it's not a squishy machine, sir. It's actually our good shakes. What, are they good shakes? Are they really good shakes? No, that's what we call them because we're Good Burger. I'll be the judge of that, Ed.
Why did you get across the room? Because it was fucking raw. Thank you. Good night.
Well, listen, Gordon. You said you wanted a burger, but you didn't necessarily say you wanted a cooked burger. What?
Oh my god.
Sorry, I had to.
And you got my case about abusing it.
No. That was perfect timing. That was comedic timing at its finest. This is what we call an improv, the laughing moment. When somebody when your scene partner picks up on something you said and makes a joke about it. That's what you do. But yeah, Dexter's because Keenan's there and he's just drinking his woes away with good shakes. Which, by the way, Kel bathed in that, so he doesn't even realize that he's drinking Kel bathed milkshakes.
Dude, God. Dude. At least it's not like it's not like they're gonna try to sell it like selling someone's bathwater. Come on.
Putting past that fucking manager dude. And he feeding his mother cat food. Yeah, I would put it past him.
Yeah, because considering he didn't fire Ed after that, it's like, well, he just okay, whatever. I'm just thinking, Keenan must have drank 10 or 20 milkshakes. It's like, oh my god, he is literally drowning his sorrows right now in these milkshakes. Even Kel even has to say, dude, don't you think he had enough?
Oh gosh,
Here's
the
the
lactose
thing.
intolerance that's gonna come from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What gets me about the whole milkshake thing, he's spending money on milkshakes when he needs that goddamn start paying for the damn car.
Hey, listen.
Stop wasting money.
Listen, when you owe people money and you just lost your only opportunity to make that money and you feel like you have nothing left, the last thing you're thinking of is, how do I get myself out of this situation? The first thing you're thinking of is I need to calm myself down. I need my comfort foods.
Sometimes
Drown
it's
your
Ben and
sorrows,
Jerry's, sometimes it's a nice grilled cheese, and then sometimes it's 20 milkshakes.
Yeah.
May the toilet rest in peace.
For me, it's 20 rounds in a man's dick.
Thank you for that image.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, and Keenan
I love how we're all just dead ass. What's going on right now?
Circus's brain is going off the handle.
Yeah, Circus's brain needs some milkshakes.
The circus's brain needs some answers, and I'll tell you about it later.
But even Keenan realizes, wait a minute, I've seen you before. And my thought is yes, you've done shows with him. You've done 2 shows with him. Of course, he looks familiar. Here's the one dick thing Kel does in the movie. Keenan's talking about his sorrows about, oh my god, I owe $5,000 worth of car damages to not only my mother but my asshole teacher that I was trying to get away from. And he's talking about how his former boss insulted him insulted him like the white slave owner coming down on him. And Kel's like, boy, you must really suck. I'm like, Jesus, dude.
Why put salt on your friend's injury, dude?
Well, they're not even really friends at that point. Even Keenan's if there were people around, I'd slap you upside your head. But your brain won't understand what pain is.
I I believe it.
Because at some point it's like, because Kel at some point was like, oh, maybe I'm someone famous, like a baseball player or a pretty nurse. It's like, why would you think you're an attractive nurse? You don't even work in the medical field.
That's so random.
Yeah. Oh, we got Echo Circus.
Like, excuse me.
I was like, hey, man, Cal offers Keenan a job. Well, doesn't offer him. He's like, hey, asshole, this guy needs a job. Can he have one? No.
No.
I was like, Jesus,
No.
you didn't even give him a chance. You didn't even interview him. You know, like he interviews him for like less than a minute, and he just gives him the job right away. I'm like, damn, that's like the quickest job interview ever. I was like, hey, you want a job? Yeah, sure. I was like, oh, hey, you know how to do deliveries? Yes, I'm great at driving.
I love how the hell he points out that Otis is like barely hanging on, and they don't know when he's about to die.
You know, it's like, yeah, but look at Otis. How much longer can he possibly live? Like, Jesus, Kel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, way to kick a man down when he's like way to kick a man down when he's 77. He's working and the poor man just wanted to retire, but now he can't. So now he has to work at a fast food joint at 77 on a ventilator,
Dude,
no less, doing fries.
Dude, he was like in there like pulling up fries with a fucking oxygen mask on, sitting down like kill mate.
He's like, I should have died years ago.
Bro. Some dark humor, dude.
I know.
And considering like this was one of Abe Vigoda's last, or close to last film roles, it's like, oh god. Like, because he gets introduced to everyone else. He gets introduced to Dan. He gets introduced to the vegetarian girl who happens to be working at an eatery that involves meat. So it's like,
and
ironic.
She's blonde, so she's playing the dumb blonde stereotype.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
It's like, let's get the ditzy girl in here because we got to have one in every comedy show.
Thanks, Mr. Footman, you fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we have to have Spatch, who's the guy that can't talk and is like he just grunts all the time and is burlesque, and it's like, oh, isn't it funny how fat people are funny when they're just like doing the like oddest things? Like, oh, thank you, asshole.
Yep, thanks. At ableist.
Or no, fat phobic too. And then of course Monique comes into the picture, and then of course Keenan's got to get all suave and like, well, hello, wow, that's a nice looking outfit you got there, and those stripes really match the color of your eyes. Like, what kind of line is that?
He's trying to flirt.
I know, how embarrassing. I came to work.
But hey, at least it's had a little bit of thought put into it, you know? A little bit.
A little bit, but it's not much. Like, because her comeback is great, too. Because she's like, you can't imagine how I came into work and saw everybody wearing the same thing. I was like, oh, she got you there, dude.
Yep.
And she's like, she is all that. All what?
All what? Oh, I get that part now, because they were in the fucking show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew about that show drop like as a kid, and I'm like, I get it.
Oh, title drop.
I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, and then the Burgomobile gets introduced, and of course, for some reason, Kel can't drive either.
No.
Bro.
And then they run over Sinbad's mailbox.
God damn it!
Why?
First I would be like, God damn it! What the hell have we been doing all this time?
Oh, and here's the other thing about asshole too. He makes all his employees work from opening till closing. Okay, and also this is the interesting too about Keenan's pay. So he gets $5 an hour. He works 6 hours a day, so 5 days a week. So if we were to take that, so he makes $30 a day for an entire week. He makes $150. So in a month, that's $600. And considering he owes about $2,700 to pay off the money, he would have to work for 5 months in order to get the money. And that's not even covering the whole summer. He would have to work also during school just to pay off everything.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, it's like,
Christ almighty.
Now, if he was still working at Mondo Burger, it would be cut in half the amount of time. But no, because asshole doesn't want to pay his employees, that's what happens. Oh, and then, oh yeah, because then Kurt and the others, like before, like it's the grand opening night, and just to rub it in Good Burger's faces, they decide to order food. Oh, and it's like, oh, check it, boys, it's the reject. I'm like, oh, so we're going into that. We're getting into this territory now.
Oh, the elitist set. Okay. All right,
look at it's the Mondo idiot.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, well, Ed, you better watch your butt, man. Okay.
And he literally watches his butt.
Watches his ass, spitting around in the process.
And he's like, I give up. There is no way a guy can watch his own butt.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Now, here's the thing about the grand opening, too. They have, like, an entire band playing, like, one of the, what was it, Celebrating Good Times song. And then they have this grandiose event, grand opening, like it's the opening of a Hollywood-style restaurant. Like, I get it's Los Angeles, but since when does a fast food joint get that much publicity? And, like, star power and stuff. Like, they even, like, take out all the electricity in the area, and it all goes to them. So I'm like, wait a minute, you just took out all of the electricity in the neighborhood just so you could power up your fucking grand opening. What the hell? That is totally like... That is totally
guy
like...
They want to
power
put it in
hungry.
your face that this is the antagonist, right?
What?
Yeah, probably.
They want to beat it into your face that this is the antagonist, right?
We already know he's the antagonist. You don't need to keep rubbing it in our faces.
Yeah, like
Subtlety
it's like
isn't really
what? I mean, why was he?
Mr. Footman's specialty.
Oh, that's like we gotta keep.
He's trying like
as subtle as the
like
foot logo.
Why you gotta feel the need to pimp your opening like that, dude?
You know, because
like, we get it, you're the antagonist, but
we gotta have the villain have his grandiose moment. Apparently, like we gotta show him off as like the big Hollywood owner. Which, by the way, we don't even know how he got the money to even open up this style of restaurant.
You know what? Same way Tommy Wiseau got his money. Just don't question it. Just shh.
Hey, at least this is a better movie than that one. Oh, and also, like, somehow, like, asshole is able to get, like, his hand on a Mono Burger, and they're looking at it like they're looking at it like it's a murder scene.
But,
like, there's even one point where Spatch is, like, trying to lift the Mondo Burger with his spatula, and it just ends up bending it.
So, like, the nasty patty and also the giant patty.
Yes, it's, like, the nasty and the giant patty mixed together, but no pretty on it. Even Kel's like, oh, let me put a Good Burger and a Mondo Burger up next to my ears and let's see what they're like. Oh, they sound similar. And if Circus were here, this is the point where asshole's like, well, we only made $43. I guess I could just feed my mother cat food. Like, why would you do that to your mother?
Why would you
doing
feed
her
me
dirty
cat
like that.
food, son? Isn't what I did enough?
Yeah, she's the one that put the money in to get the restaurant going.
You couldn't even get me a fancy feast. You got me some knockoff.
Couldn't even get the. Wow, you couldn't even get the real stuff. You had to get the imitation one. Oh my God, son! No wonder why he's such an asshole. Oh yeah, this is the point where Keenan realizes that Kel was the guy on the rollerblades that ended up, in his mind, thinking that he was the one that caused the accident, even though it was all Keenan's fault because he was in the car going 90 miles an hour. But what was it? Kel ends up running into Godfather Man. It ends up breaking his ass, literally.
What?
Oof.
Like this is like the SpongeBob episode.
Yes. Just like runs right into him and just knocks him on the ground, and like all of his butt just like crashes into tiny pieces. And Keenan does like this whole grandiose thing of like, you ruined my life, you cost me a fortune, like you're the reason I owe all this money and everything, you ruined everything for me, dude. And my favorite, and this what actually made me laugh, because Kel's like, so you don't want to hang out tonight? I'm like, oh, he's like so oblivious, but it's so funny. And it's like short-lived too, because like the next day, once like Keenan starts realizing that Ed's got like this secret sauce that apparently tastes so good, that's like, oh, I'm willing to forgive everything you did because now I can make a little extra money off of him. Like, I'll take advantage of his kindness by making a contract that says I take 80% of everything that he earns. Which I mean, God damn, Keenan.
He's perpetuating the cycle of abuse.
Bro, an exploitation.
Well, yeah. First of all, he blames Kel for the accident when it's really his fault. Doesn't want to take responsibility for the fact that he caused the accident. It's like, you're the reason I owe all this money. I did nothing wrong. You're the reason why my mom grounded me for the rest of my life. I'm like, oh Jesus, dude. You're the one behind the wheel, not him. But then it's like, oh, a money-making opportunity with this sauce that nobody knows about, and we don't even know what's in the ingredients. But oh, hey, I'll take like 80% of everything that you make, because like Asshole was even telling Cal, like, listen, for every good burger we sell, I'm giving you a dime for it. So it's like, okay, so if they sell 100, so let's say they made 1,000 good burgers, he would get $100 out of that. And I'm like,
that's why you poop on company time.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh my God, we're only getting like, it's like, yeah, because. Yeah, Kel's just getting 10% of all the profits from Good Burger. Like, all the Good Burgers that they sell, he's only getting 10% of it. I'm like, dude, he practically gave you the sauce that saved your business, and you're only going to give him 10%? It's not like you did anything to, get that off the ground. And considering that sauce will eventually die down, like, people are just going to get sick of it and be like, okay, now we got to come up with a new gimmick to keep this going.
But it's like the whole he'd be like Mr. Krabs saying, "Hello, I like money."
Hello, I'm Asshole, and I like money. Like, I mean, if you think about it, Asshole just like physically abuses the customers, like when they're trying to eat. Like, if you think about it, he's just going up to them, he's just like shaking them, touching their hair, and like all in excitement because they're coming to eat in his restaurant.
No, he does kind of look like Mr. Krabs a bit.
And I wonder if that's where they got the inspiration from.
Probably.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the whole grape nose boy thing.
Ugh! I'm Great Nose Boy.
Mm-hmm. Which I know caused a lot of nightmares for another asshole that used to do reviews, but I mean, hey,
and Seared, M.E.
What?
NC or
Yeah, NC.
TME?
No,
Oh, okay.
NC. Yeah, so and also like we were trying to figure, my friend and I were trying to figure out what is in the sauce, and we found out, we came to the conclusion that it's all of the ingredients that you put in a hamburger. Like it's lettuce, cheese, onions, tomatoes, ketchup, mustard, pickles. That's really it.
Well, he puts salt in it too.
Oh yes, because you got to salt every sauce you make. That is the grandiose rule. And pepper, if you really want to go, if you really want to get grandiose about it. But like when he's trying to explain, oh yeah, and he also puts lemon juice in there too for some reason.
I was gonna say, like, I'm looking this up, and it says for sure that they lemon juice and hold on, you know that it contains lemon juice and ketchup.
Yeah, that's the only two. That's the only two ingredients he spouses off. But my friend and I figured it out, like, because we were looking at the ingredients on the table that he was putting in there. I'm like, oh my god, those are just all hamburger ingredients. Like, he just took everything and then just put it inside of a big pot and said, like, yep, this is my sauce.
Someone actually recreated the sauce. I'm just sharing it in the chat.
Is it Bobish?
No, it's on a site called Mama Plus One.
Ah.
Ooh, double dipped French toast IHOP copycat.
Oh yeah, because like Keenan football tackles Kel to the ground when he tries to explain what's in there, what's in the sauce. Like, and even Kel does the whole like, look, Dexter, I like you as a friend and everything, but
you're squishing my pancreas.
Like, Kel originally thought that, like, because Kel originally thought that Keenan was like trying to make out with him or something. Like, Keenan has to tell him, never tell anyone the ingredients of your sauce. This is kind of like what Mr. Krabs had to do at Squidward when he first started working there. We don't tell Plankton the secret formula, even though people have already figured out what it is. Oh, and then Mondo, and like, what was it? Curtis is now all pissed off because now people are going to eat the sauce. Even though, like, even knocks out with like one of his yes men with like a headbutt.
You think Kurt is stupid?
He was like, yeah, no. And then he trips on the other guy. Like, wait a minute, how did this guy fall down, like, randomly?
Because comedy.
Yeah, because, like, I'll go get it right away. Whoa! And I was like, wait a minute, what? That makes no sense. So after Keenan steals, like, 80% of Kel's money, Kel's like, oh, let's go hang out together. It's like, this is like the equivalent of, like, a date. And he's like, oh, gee, I don't know. I don't want to do it. It's like, please?
Pretty please?
He had to do the whole puppy dog look. And he's like, okay. It's like, okay. Oh, Echo. Jesus. That was loud.
Sorry.
Oh, like, even Kel goes as far as to say, you want to see my secret place? Like, what the hell?
Better have a secret tunnel.
Yeah, it's like, that's not what I had in mind.
Come on.
Oh yeah, and of course it's just the roof. But apparently they got like lawn chairs and everything. He's got like his own little pad, which I know in the sequel they're actually gonna do a scene up there. And it's like, Dexter, did you really think that we would buying this place after 30 years? It's like, no. Yeah, apparently, like, Kel goes up there to think about things like Good Burger, squirrels, cardboard boxes, things that are sticky.
You know, the important things in life.
Mm-hmm.
Kel's just the SpongeBob of Good Burger.
Like, this is also when we find out he's got 6 toes on his left foot. Which I know was a joke in the All That version of the show, but they never bring it up again. Oh yeah, and this is when Keenan like reveals that his dad left him, and of course it's got to be like one of these storylines, like for like because like for every black kid's got to have like the one dad that always leaves or whatever. It's like, oh my god.
I don't know what my dad looks like. Yeah, I don't know what my dad looks like either, but at least I get to see him every day.
I was like, God, Kel, Jesus. You're an absolute dick sometimes and not even realize it. Like Keenan goes into this whole thing about how his dad gave him a yo-yo that lit up and it made sounds, and then it stopped doing all that stuff, and it's just like he threw it away afterwards. And it's like, man, I was like, I don't know what I would do with my dad came into the picture again, like type of deal. It's like that whole thing. It's like playing it. It's like playing into every stereotype. And I'm like, geez, asshole. And like Kel's like, oh, thanks for hanging out with me. It's like, aw. And like even it's like it even go far as to be like Keenan says, see you tomorrow, buddy. And like Kel's like, you mean it? It's like, mean what? You called me your buddy. I was like, yeah, sure, I guess so. So you could probably tell that Kells doesn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah, Kells. So we can see it on this. Kells just a big cinnamon roll, really.
Well, this is also playing into that like autistic stereotype that we can't make friends. So like anytime somebody becomes our friend, it's almost like we're in a relationship of some kind.
Right, that's true.
Right, because listen, a lot of autistics, what they like to do when they care about somebody, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll share their special interests with them, or they'll try to get into their friends' special interests or their hobbies, and because they want to try to be friendly and everything like that. Stuff that I used to do and stuff that my friends do, and we all do this stuff, but. Just like the concept of having a friend in a particular setting like that, it's like I said, it's almost like being in a relationship. They treat it like being in a relationship. It's like, oh, finally, like somebody has that stuff, and I'm like, well, that's horrible that we still have to live like that. It's like, can we get like to a point where it's not like that? So it kind of brings up that whole thing. I mean, I know they don't say that in the movie, but I mean, all the tropes are there, and I pick up on that stuff. All the tropes are there. Next scene, they find out, like, Keenan finds out he's got to make a delivery for Shaq. I'm like, oh god, imagine that you're making a delivery for a celebrity. Can you imagine? It's like, oh my god, imagine how big that tip's gonna be.
Yeah, but he wanted to take Monique and decided he wanted to tag along.
Oh, of course, because it's like, oh hey, I get. Probably in his mind, Keenan was thinking, oh hey, I'm about to go see Shaq. Wouldn't you think I'm a badass now that I actually am getting to know a celebrity type of deal?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, no, Ed goes with him instead. It's like, yeah, you can go, Ed. And by the way, I don't know why Kel is driving the car. He's not the one delivering. Like he breaks into like I'm calling it the Staples Center because that's how I always knew the arena for the Lakers, but they called it like a crypto something arena, and then they had to take down the name because the crypto company went down. I'm like, of course it did. Why would you name it a basketball arena after a crypto thing in the first place? Anyway, Staples Center was just fine. It was a very iconic name at the time. And of course, Shaq gets his like cameo in there. It's like, how do you feel? I feel hungry. It's like,
here they come.
Yeah, classic commercial. And then of course, Chariots of Fire music plays when they're trying to go up and hug someone. It's the most wholesome thing ever. You have two of the biggest fans of Shaq coming to meet him for the first time, and they're all getting all excited. And Shaq's like, "Oh man, this is like kind of wholesome." He's not even bothered by it.
What bothers me, what comes up next is, like he said, "Oh man, there ain't no tomato in my butt," and he pulls out a fucking tomato from his and pulls the tomato out of his fucking pocket. And I'm like, "What the fuck, Ed?"
Yeah, he just has like a random raw tomato in his pocket, And he's like, consider yourself tomatoed.
You're one straight little man, aren't you?
You're not like other people, are you? And then, like, they're doing a delivery in the middle of an interview too. Like they just became like apparently Shaq just became like a world champion, Echo, and like they just became world champions of the NBA. And here's these two random guys giving him his food delivery. Like, Shaq, why are you ordering food after you just won a title? I mean, that's great, but I'm not getting him on that. I just found it very funny. I just won a championship. Time to go order me a good burger. I mean, hey.
Gotta get that protein.
Yeah.
Do you think Shaq would have a sponsor? He would have, like, Jordan with McDonald's.
Oh, no. I can't even remember who his sponsors were at the time, but I think Pepsi was one of them. But no, he eats the burger like right in front of all the reporters. So I'm like, okay, this is how I celebrate. And then of course Ed gets to gloat, and then of course Kurt's watching the whole thing.
I'm on TV. I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's an evil dude. Hey.
And then Kurt's just like, shut up! And he just like kicks the TV, and the whole TV explodes. Like, what the hell, dude?
You think he's a big man?
Like, he actually thinks that Kel is like trash talking him. Like, dude, how low is your self confidence got to be that you think like somebody's like, oh, I've never been on live TV before and everything? Because he was like, Kurt's like, oh, that Mondo burger should have been in Shaq's hands, not that good burger. It's like kicking at an expensive TV.
Then he orders the burgers to be twice the size they are now.
No, 3 times. They're triple the size. Bigger!
I'm in the middle of eating cookies.
Oh God! Imagine having to work for like a company that makes sex toys, and all of a sudden, like your boss says, "Make them bigger, but they're already bigger."
Nobody's insides would be that would be
Or even weirder,
that
go by,
much. I mean,
the designs made by Tumblr users. Spoiler alert, none of them look like how they're intended.
Through that.
Yep.
I mean, imagine both your ends are going to be like incredibly bloody after that. I'm derailing, but that analogy just really fucked me over, dude.
So Kurt decides, oh, hey, maybe we could try to get Kel away from Good Burger and have him work for us. So why don't I get him in the car? Well, first of all, let me go find Kel while he's, like, rollerblading and then run right into him. So hopefully it doesn't cause him any injuries. So, like, Kurt gives him a luxury ride. And, of course, like, how do you think $10 sounds? I don't know. It sounds sort of like... Obviously, I didn't have enough. Obviously, I didn't have enough saliva in order to do like the stuff.
That's why I gotcha.
Yeah, like Kurtzo offers him like, "Come work for me at Manu Burger. You make your sauce for Kurt."
Who's
Like-
Kurt?
I'm
Are you
Kurt.
trying to kidnap him?
No, well, no, that's later.
No, I'm in.
I'm aware.
I thought you were Kurt.
See now, that's comedy at its finest, right there.
It's the whole fucking who's on base shit for
God.
modern audience. Man.
Oh God, no, that would have gone for like 20 minutes if that was the case.
Yeah, but that's just a shortened version. I bet.
Mm-hmm. Well, Keaton has to talk him out of it. Like, no, he wants your sauce recipe. Don't go work for him. I was like, but he likes me. No, he doesn't. Just because somebody gives you a luxury car ride doesn't mean they like you. They're trying to get something out of you. Like, what do they want out of me? Your
Trying to milk you
sauce.
for all it's worth.
It's like a puppy. He doesn't know who's evil and who's not.
Yeah.
He sees the world through rose-colored glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Rose tinted glasses, yeah.
Oh, but then Kel does something good. Like, he actually gives Keenan the yo-yo he talked about in his story. And then he's like, why'd you get this for me? 'Cause we're buds! Keenan's just like, Keenan is kind of like thinking to himself, like, wait a minute, am I actually thinking that I'm gonna be friends with him? Like, oh my god. So I mean, hey, that's another thing that I know that autistic people like to do. They like to actually gift their friends stuff. So it's like sometimes just randomly out of the blue, stuff like that. And it's like, oh, thanks. And then you realize, they do care about you in a lot of senses. As I'm considering Keenan, like in those, like, wait a minute, your other friend like practically ditched you after your car crashed, and so here's this guy that just is going to give you like a yo-yo and everything. That's cool. And
he knows the story behind it.
Yes, and he knows the story behind it. So obviously he was paying attention to it. And then Kurt has to go with the big guns now. He has to get Carmen Electra.
What is wrong with this guy?
He doesn't want to work for Mondo Burger.
Call him Roxanne.
No, the way he says it too, it's like, if anybody can get the sauce out of Ed, she can. Like, whoa, dude.
Joey, I'm not like you. I can't remember line by line.
No, I can, and even then, like the lines that they got away with back then.
And here comes Roxanne into the restaurant with Roxanne by the Police Gun Line, a song that's actually about a prostitute in the red light district.
Yeah. Most people don't know that, and they didn't even use the Police song either. They used like the I can't even remember who did that version, but yeah. And the way she dressed too, like she's definitely like a sex worker working on the streets at night. Like, look, I know that Carmen Electra was a Playboy playmate for years, so I know she's definitely playing into, like, using her body in order to get attention. But I remember this was a kids movie. This was a Nickelodeon movie. So asshole thought, like, oh, hey, let's get Carmen Electra, Playboy playmate, to be in a movie that's meant for kids. Which I know they got her for, like, the Cheaper by the Dozen sequel. But
by then she wasn't that popular.
But by then they had her play a housewife and everything. Like, people don't realize, like, she was doing softcore porn at the time. Like, you gotta understand, like, oh, Jesus. But, I mean, hey, she was a cultural, for a lot of people, she was a cultural icon in the 90s. I mean, wait a minute, she married Dennis Rodman, and then, what was it, they divorced, like, a day and a half later in Vegas?
Whatever happened to her? I haven't, like, heard anything about her in, like, years.
I know.
I can look this up.
Yeah, I know for a fact that she was actually dating a very popular adult film star back in the day.
Oh gosh, Carmen Sandiego.
Oh god, is she going to be playing that person?
No. Let's see.
I had not realized that she had a rap career.
According to IMDb, her last... Wait, is there enough? Rise of the Tarragon?
Well, no, in terms of movies, like, she hasn't been in really anything. There's
a movie that's in pre-production called Rise of the Tarragon.
No, that's not even listed on the filmography. I know she was.
I'm looking at this on IMDb, and it's under the upcoming.
Oh, she was recently on. Oh, she was recently on the new version of Whose Line Is It Anyway a few years ago. She was also a guest in Hell's Kitchen. She was on an episode of the Celebrity Dating Game, and whatever Domino Masters is. Yeah, but she was like a guest on there. So she's basically just doing...
She was in those awful parody movies?
Yes, she was in Scary Movie and everything. That's another
An
reason why
epic
she was
movie
so.
and Meet the Spartans.
Yeah, she was part of that
I
whole
think that
crew.
killed her career for a little bit.
Well, I mean, that totally killed. I mean, here's the thing. She was, like I was saying, she was a Playboy for many years. She was dating a very popular adult film star at the time, who I think almost they got married. So she was definitely involved in the adult film world. But she tried to branch off into doing. Movies. But she wasn't an actress by and far. She was only doing the movies so that she can show off her body and everything. But then once she got older, she couldn't really do that anymore. So she just became a Fox News watcher, as far as I know.
She was in Leisure Suit Larry box office bust as a character named Ginger Vitus.
Yes. Yes.
Damn it! I
Last
remember
thing
that
she was in
game.
was an episode of Alone Together, 2018.
Yeah, so she was practically doing just anything sex related. I mean, that was like all of the movies that she did. Like I said, she did soft.
But like I can't say it.
Leisure
I'll just
Suit
shorten
Larry.
it. Yeah, Leisure Suit Larry. That all that stuff is implied. It's not like
But then
they
again,
don't
like
show that stuff. Usually.
And that's the same thing with all the like the scary movies and everything. It's like all it's not shown, but it's implied with a lot of things. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, her career was practically softcore stuff, like her entire career until she like had to get into the whole Fox News crowd because there was nothing left for her. But yeah. So getting back to the movie, but yeah, it's she just decides to ask Ed out on a date randomly. Well, not randomly. We all know what her intended purpose is, to get the secret formula. And Ed is just completely oblivious to it. It's like, okay, I'm going on a date with this random woman that just came up here. Like, okay. Oh, and she tries the whole hitting on him thing, and he's just not falling for it. It's like, you are so hot. Yeah, well, I often sweat at work.
He is too oblivious.
Although I kind of think that's him flirting in a sense. Like if you really think about it, like that's like if somebody were to say that, that's kind of like something that somebody would say to like kind of make the other person laugh. Like even when she says even when she says I'm hungry for you, he's like, oh well, I'm not edible.
Well, I was about to say, is that like a common trait among autistics that's totally oblivious when someone's no.
Well, I mean, it's just a common thing. Like, this is why I have to keep telling people, like, if you're going to do something, like, try to make sure that you're as open, like, upfront as possible, which a lot of people do not like to do. Like, they want you to read between the lines a lot of times.
Like, don't play mind games, you know? Like,
yeah, I had to tell people this. Like, I was dating somebody at the time, and we had made it clear in the beginning, like when we first started seeing each other, that we were just going to be friendly. Like after we had we didn't even call it a date. It was just a hangout, really. But we had said, like, listen, we're just going to be friends and we're going to hang out and everything. Little did I realize that was just, in her mind, that was just a segue. It's like, okay, we'll start as friends and then we'll move on to something else. But and then tried to do the whole like, oh, look, I'm dating somebody else. Aren't you jealous by it? And I said, why would I be jealous? Aren't you happy about it?
I hate when like that kind of thing. It's like, really? So fucking petty.
Yeah. And it just got to a point where she was like trying to imply like, yes, let's date, but didn't actually want to say it up front because she felt like it wasn't her obligation as a woman to do so because of the roles that men and women are supposed to play. Like in her mind, from how she was raised, she told me like men have to be the ones to do all of the asking. They got to have all the money. They got to plan everything. They got to do all this. And I said, well,
they have to initiate
this
shit.
Isn't the 50s anymore. We're over that shit.
Or we're trying to get over that shit. People still want to live like it's the 50s.
I mean, hey, if we could have the being able to live in our own houses thing, I'm just keep that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else.
Same. I agree. Or at
But-
least have like give us the money so we can actually buy the damn houses.
Yeah, and then not have to deal with homeowners insurance. So
Or
that they
better
don't
yet,
try to take
heavier
it out.
taxes on people who have vacation homes. And,
Or people that make over $3 million. How about that? Like every dollar they make over that, you tax them by 90%. That way, like all of that money they make, all that money that get taxed then goes to us. Like we used to do that back when Franklin Roosevelt was president, and everything was actually really good back then. Or not really, because I mean, Japanese people would have something to say about him. It's like, fuck that motherfucker. And so other people that weren't white back then, let's say, like, yeah, it worked for them, but not for us. But the concept of it was good. It's just that it
wasn't applied correctly.
It wasn't applied correctly, and it only applied to certain people. It didn't apply to everybody. Nowadays, we want to apply it to everybody, and we're trying to get back into that whole thing. Because even the younger generation, like the Zoomers, they're like, yeah, we really like this idea of like taxing all these rich motherfuckers because we hate their guts. Like Asshole, for example, or Kurt over at Mondo Burger. But yeah, so Kel gets the whole date. Keenan's jealous because it's like, you got Carmen Electra as a date, and Kel's like, who? So it's like, oh, and then Kel's like, oh, hey, you want to come? He's like, Kel, why would you invite me to a date of yours? Like, three's a crowd. I'm not going with your date and yourself over there. Like, no, it's just weird. I was like, okay, just ask Monique out then.
Oh my gosh, make it a double.
Yeah, make a
Double date. Oh shit.
And Keenan definitely does not want to do it. Like, he's just like telling Cal outright, like, no, I'm not asking Monique out. She does not like me. She will feel, she's gonna feel like she's wasting her time going out with me and everything. And this is the one thing that I'll say about Kel that was kind of fucked up. Like, don't pressure somebody into dating somebody. And even then, Keenan doesn't even ask her out. Like, Kel does the asking out for him. I'm like, Kel, don't do that. Don't. I mean, I know it definitely worked out in the end because she said yes, and he's like, I knew she'd say yes.
Moo.
Moo. Yes, like Dexter's a chicken. Chicken moo. Which I didn't even realize he was doing a cow back then. I thought he was actually talking about Mew the Pokemon. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Mew a chicken? Like, as far as I know, Mew is like a space creature.
Like a little kitty.
Almost like a space cat.
A space cat. Yeah, it's like meow, meow.
This is before Pokemon got on the scene, Jelly.
Oh no, technically it was in Japan. We didn't get it until 2 years
Is this around the
later.
time of like the movie, the Mewtwo Strikes Back thing?
No.
So
The anime wasn't even out. The anime wasn't even in its full-fledged yet. I mean, it was there, but it was only like Japan. We didn't get it until 2 years later.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it wasn't here yet.
But it technically was 96. Anyway, so what do they? So they go on this double date to an arcade, like practically where every 90s teenager just ended up going to.
It was like an arcade / mini golf place.
Yeah, it's like very common. It's almost like
did it have one of those really cool arcade carpets?
yes.
Oh, I love those.
And they did the classic corn, and they did the classic corn dogs in the concession stand. Bubs
That
with his
sounds
corn.
good right about now. Fuck.
Yeah, the play.
What's good is, like, in that scene, there's a string called Utopia, which was the bomb back then.
Whoa,
I love.
You're breaking
Wish they had.
up. Circus, you're
Your
breaking
mic's
up.
crackling.
Check it out, circus.
It's like you're
Be
in a
back.
tunnel. It's like you're in a tunnel. But no, I was saying, like, yeah, they had the arcade carpets. They had the arcade cabinets that everyone's familiar with. They had the classic corn dog. They even had the tile that they had back then, like, near the concession stands when you're, like, eating the food. They had that classic 90s tile.
Can y'all hear me perfectly now?
Yes.
Yes.
There's this drink they were drinking in the scene called Fruitopia, which they no longer sell here. Oh my god, I wish we still had it. Yeah. That's the best part for me.
Yeah,
that drink.
That was a fad back then. It didn't even last that long.
Well, they still sell the drink in Canada.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things they sell in Canada, like
health insurance.
That too. I was gonna say, like, it's not Cheez-Its. I think Cheese Nips. They sell them in Canada still under a different name.
Yeah. Even though they're technically the same, they're technically the same shape. The flavors are different. So they're eating corn dogs, and the classic question: how do they get the weenie into the batter?
Right.
Like, I've only had a corn dog once in my life, and I'm like, I wonder how they did that, but I never wanted to eat it again. Keenan realizes what Carmen's really there to do is to try to get the secret formula, so they decide to go mini golfing. Like, even Carmen's like, can't we just go somewhere and be alone? And it's like, what for? It's like, well, maybe we can talk, or maybe we can get to know each other a little better. Oh, like, oh no. She's going to do the whole classic, here, let me unzip your pants type of deal. And it's like, doesn't that sound more fun than doesn't that sound more fun than mini golf? No!
No!
Where's Chris Hansen when you need him?
Well, no, I think they're technically over 18, so...
No, I think that, Ed probably is over 18 because he doesn't go to school and all.
Yeah.
I had to think about that one for a second.
No, I did laugh. It's like, oh my god, you just got offered. I had to laugh at that because like every guy back then was like, oh my god, if Carmen Electra like told me that she wanted to unzip my pants to do it, I would have like said yes. But here's this guy's like, no.
It's like that one joke from, I can't remember the name of it, but there's this guy who was trying to tutor this lady, and she just started doing this dance. And then she pushes her homework towards him, and he's like, no. I think it was called Symbiotic Titan. If anyone in the chat knows what I'm talking about, please.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, hold on.
I'll get the clip.
My air filter just randomly turned off, so I'm trying to get it back on.
Tell me, Ed, what is there you want to do? You got Martian. I always
found it.
Martian.
Well, no, we still haven't done the whole mini golf thing yet.
Sorry, I was thinking about the Martian scene.
Because what was it? They're playing mini golf, and Ed for some reason doesn't understand the concept of like it's mini golf. It's not like actual golf. And then the golf ball just hits Carmen right in the forehead. Which, by the way, she was able to see it in slow motion, so she could have ducked out of the way. And then she gets knocked out, and then instead of just calling 911 and getting her to a hospital, they just decide to put her in the passenger seat of the car and just...
Weekend and Bernie's her.
Yeah.
And Ed's telling stories about his childhood. He's saying his first word at 3 years old. Hey, Joe, you might be right. He might be autistic because he said his first word later on in life.
And I was like, no, he was 6 when he said his first words. He's like, then when I was 6, I said my first words. My mom said it was trousers, but I think it was tweezers. And so she gets woken up by the fact that, like, Kel just immediately abrupt stopping the car. And it's like she's got this big gash on her forehead. It's like, your head hit my golf ball. Then you went sleepy by. And
then Israel wanted to go walk by, and they're like, "Hey, what about me?" And Carmen's like,
"Hello,
what about me?"
It's like, and this is where he is like, "So Ed, what do you want to do?" Well, I always wanted to shave a Martian, and then just pulls out a random razor out of his pocket. Yeah, then Keenan finds out that Kel has been saying all these nice things about him to Monique, and that's why she ended up going out with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, well, thank you for being a great wingman, Kel. I mean, you gave me the yo-yo, you told Monique what a great guy I am, and now she wants to go out with me.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Travel down.
Travel down the road and back again.
Mark's World and stuff. That's an interesting name. Hi there.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, and this is where Carmen just grabs Ed and then just puts him on the hood of the car. I'm like, oh god, no, don't do it.
Run, Ed.
Well, he can't run. He's like, look at me, Ed. I'm looking.
Disrespectfully.
What do you see? That big red lump on your forehead where the golf ball hit you? And then she's like, listen, you tell me how you make your sauce and I'll give you anything you want. And she says it very sexually, so you know what she's going to do.
And tries to go down on him, kissing him, and
and then he commits assault by flipping her over and knocking her onto the concrete and basically just causing her to not breathe. Like,
how did he not get arrested?
Yeah, it's like, dude, like the cops should have been called at that point.
Jesus.
Like he literally almost just murdered he almost murdered her.
Mark, don't be sorry for your name. We just never expected it. Hi, welcome to the show. Don't be.
Oh yeah, and then she comes in the next day. It's like she's already like bandaged up and she's got the crutches and everything, and she just quits right then and there, and then just falls to her, and then she just falls into her impending death because, like, for some reason, she can't hold herself up.
I like how he's just staring at her like, "What the hell?"
I was like, "What did Ed do to you?" It's almost like that. Oh god, there's a Star Trek is always known for its sexual overtones. Like the creator of Star Trek was always like a sexual monster or whatever. Not monster because people loved him, but like he was he just loved sex so much. But when there was one episode of one of the Star Trek shows everyone there's two couples that have sex. And they come in and they got injuries all over them and they have to go to the hospital because they're just we got broken ribs. What kind of sex were you guys having? Very good ones. And then the next couple comes in and wait, you guys have broken bones and ribs too? It's yes. What were you people doing?
They've turned off the fucking gravity. That's why.
Yeah, so that's the kind of look that Kurt gives her. It's what did you and Ed do last night? Oh, and this is where one of the other cast members of All That makes an appearance when playing one of her All That characters and just
Lori Beth Greenberg or something.
Yeah, Lori Beth Dinberg or something, or Dinkelberg.
Mm-hmm. Marcus, I played Mario 64 at the age of 5 and beat that, but years later when I played it, it's impossible to beat.
Well, I recently beat Mario 64 with getting all the stars. It's actually, once you figure out how to get all the stars, it's actually pretty easy. So, I'll tell you what's the hardest one to do: Mario Sunshine.
Oh, dude, yes.
Trying to get all the shine sprites in that game is more difficult than anything in the world.
Especially the pachinko one, though.
Or especially all the secret stages.
Mm-hmm.
The one where you don't have your flood buddy?
Yes.
I hated those.
Anyway, so Lori Beth Dinkelberg goes off and just does the entire just goes into supersonic speed with her order, and I can't keep up with it, and his brain's fried.
I know. I feel sorry for him at that point.
Like, just write down everything if it's gonna be too much. Oh, and then and that's also when Monique realizes that Keenan's a dick because she finds the contract in his jacket pocket from the night before. And I'm like, Keenan, why would you bring that contract with you on a date? Like, randomly.
Dumb.
Like, it makes no sense. Because at one point during their walk, like, he gave her his coat, and then I guess he never got it back. And that's when she found the contract in his pocket. And it's like, oh, so you're basically cheating Ed out of a lot of money after everything he did for you. He got you a job and everything to pay off your money. And it's like, oh, so you're basically a user then.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell
Does she tell Ed what's going on?
No.
No, because it would break his heart, she says.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Yeah, that's the reason she gave. It's like, I'm not going to tell Ed that you're cheating him because it would hurt him. Because you have to also remember, like, he values Keenan's friendship, like, because that's the only friend he has. So if she told him off, it would destroy him mentally.
Yeah. Now to the clown car.
Heartbreaking.
Like, so it's going to have to be up to Keenan to talk about the contract, which he tries to do, but Kel is too busy playing with his burgers, like the Mondo and the Good Burger that he just kept over from days earlier. And then a random dog comes up and starts barking. He's like, "What is it, boy? 4 clowns. Their car's broken down. They're in trouble."
Lassie
that
parody.
dog ain't worried about no clowns. He's just hungry.
Yeah, exactly. It was a Lassie joke, which turned out to be true. Except it was really 5 clowns and not 4. So the dog didn't get it right, or Kel didn't.
Where the heck is that dang dog?
Or Kel didn't translate the dog really well.
Did your Uncle Bobo know about that one, Circus?
Yes, he was actually on the set during that time, training the clowns how to get into that fucking car. And let's just say, the dog was a mean son of a bitch behind the scenes.
Oh.
Next.
Oh, finally,
question.
I got my air filter off. Thank God.
Woo!
But yeah, like, the dog doesn't like the Mondo burger. Like, he just refuses to eat it. But he'll eat the Good Burger. And that's when, like, this is where, like, I think the transition in this movie just didn't really work. Like, now all of a sudden we got to go and attack Mondo Burger for, like, now that this dog doesn't want to suffer. I'm like, okay, that was a weird transition.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna talk. Like, the whole point of that scene was, like, Keenan was like, "Look, we need to talk about this contract that I made you sign. That I practically am stealing your money." And then they just wait until, like, the movie's over to finally talk about it, and even then he doesn't even tell him what he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what they do is they try to infiltrate Mondo Burger by dressing up in drag.
What?
Oh, sorry.
Like, Kel goes full bore with it too. Like, he does, like, the whole, like, bra and panties as well, like, underneath, like, his clothes.
And, like, the fruit to be.
The dude was wearing a fucking teddy. Come on.
What'd you say, Circus?
He was wearing a fucking teddy underneath. Come on.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. Like, he went, like, he committed to the role. like Keenan just wore a t-shirt and underwear. Like, he just went full bore with it.
Went full Bugs Bunny.
Yes, he committed like Bugs Bunny. Yeah, so they sneak in and they find out, like, trianthafol. I guess that's what it's called. It's like, it's an illegal substance that you can't put in burgers because, because it's like dangerous chemicals in a burger.
Is that like steroid? Is that like a steroid kind of?
I think it's supposed to be like shark poison in the movie.
No, they put shark poison in the sauce later on to make the customers sick at Good Burger. But no, what they do is they're literally just making they're just steroiding up their burgers in order to make them bigger, so that it's like the appeal of the restaurant, but not realizing that these chemicals can be dangerous because they can make you sick.
Right.
And Kurt's like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, it makes my burgers bigger. That's all I care about. And then, of course, when Keenan's like, I'm gonna throw you. I'm gonna tell the cops about this. And it's like, that's why no one outside this kitchen is gonna find out. And it's like, oh,
Ed, run!
just runs right into a wall. And then what was it?
So in other words, Kurt is willing to kill people in order to keep a secret to the grave.
No, and he's keeping his employees there. His employees can't leave the building. That's why he was saying
the hostage situation right here.
That's why he was saying, I'm your mother and your father, because you're not leaving this building. You work 24/7 for me.
Oh,
Well, he's got his little motor going.
Labor laws, much.
not to tell, like, all those fucking, like, workers are must be underage.
Oh yeah, child labor laws.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and let's not forget. They call a mental institution to put 2 black guys in a mental home because they don't want to get their they don't want to have them expose their secret. It's like, oh great, so they really are the villains of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you're the NC, it's like, oh yes, finally they put these 2 in a mental home. Like, oh fuck you, NC.
That's ableist much.
And of course,
Did they say that?
yes, he's like, oh, this is what they should have been doing in this movie, putting them in a mental home.
With George Clinton.
Yes, but not only that, like, Kel enjoys it because the walls are padded. So they put him in solitary confinement. And Kel is just like, oh, the walls are padded. Look what I can do. And, like, he's just having fun. And Keenan's like, why am I here?
Oh, Lord.
And then during
And
and then they kidnap Otis and they put him in there, too, after they find out that they're putting shark poison in the sauce in order to make the customers sick. I'm like, oh, damn, now you're going to literally kill people just to keep your restaurant afloat. My God. You're going to take out your competition.
Can we take a moment to mention how Otis was living in the good burger?
Oh, yes, Otis actually sleeps in the restaurant because he has no home, apparently.
Yeah. I guess that's the good way to keep on the run from the mob.
Yeah, so the asshole's like, oh yeah, we'll just let you sleep here.
Probably charge for it too. Am I right?
Yeah, probably charge him for room and board.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kidnap him and they have him go to the same solitary confinement. But even before that, during recreational time, Kel meets a psychopath, because that's literally the name that they give her.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about having space aliens going into her brain, telling her to break into the zoo and free kangaroos. What kind of zoo has kangaroos in like Los Angeles? Or, like, San Diego's probably the closest zoo, but I don't think there's any kangaroos there last time I went.
Unless she decided to fly in Australia, but her ass be locked up then.
But she would be over in Australia, not in Los Angeles.
That's what I'm talking about, being locked up over there.
Unless it was a situation where she was being held in one state and she's moved to a different one to be closer to, like, family members, so they can make the best decision for her. Stuff like that's happened before.
Yes, I know. Well, we don't even get that much information about her. All we know is that they both think that, like, Ed and Psychopath both think that they're cute. And it's like, what's cute about me? It's like, your head.
You have a pretty head too.
And it's like, well, I try to keep it nice.
She's just touching his hand.
I mean, hey, Kel does skincare and hair care. And so, like, and by the way, I think like he actually has like echo. Jesus, that was right in my ear.
Sorry.
But like, no, you could start seeing like Ed getting like a crush on her, because like she's getting a crush on him. So it's like, oh. So I guess, like, the only way Kel can find love is with somebody whose, like, mental health is not doing that great.
Yikes.
I was like, Jesus, thank you, world, for telling me that Kel, like, the only way this autistic guy can ever get like a relationship is with somebody who's not who's like going through a mental health crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Keenan can't handle it because like he's trying to play goldfish or go fish with people, and they're just eating the cards.
Yep. Yeah, nasty.
Oh, and then there's that one guy in the straitjacket that Kel's just like, oh, hey, let me get you out of this, and then he just runs havoc over everybody. Like, thank you, Ed.
Everybody.
Goodness gracious, he's gonna kill me.
He's killing Spiffy.
It's like, thank you, Kel. oh yeah, and then we get to the whole dancing sequence with like the George Clinton music. Because he's actually there, and he's got a small little cameo, and he's not. I was like, okay, they're actually playing a. And what I found out was they actually got inspiration from the Thriller music video, so they did the Thriller. They did the Thriller dance with the George Clinton music, so that was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been in that room just to have that whole thing choreographed, because that's not just a day. That would be like an entire weekly thing, like, because you're practicing the dance, you're constantly
in sync with everyone else.
Yes, like everybody's got to be in sync with it. They have to do multiple practices. Like, that's a multi-day thing right there. That's probably the last thing that they did production wise. That was probably like as they call it, the cocktail shot, where everybody just drinks at the end of the production.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was really cool, and like the song is really awesome. But yeah, this is when Keenan just steals the security guard's keys just by like hitting them in the crotch.
Mm-hmm. After convincing them to start dancing.
Like, poor guys, too. Like, all they wanted to do was dance, and here's Keenan just hitting them in the crotch.
All they going, hey, ho!
Oh, yeah, exactly. And they end up going into the one room where the killer guy is.
And then over there, like, giving them hand gestures.
I was like, oh, hey, give me 5. It's like, oh, so it's easy for you to make friends with a killer. I mean, that's Kel.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, so they figure we got to jump out the window in order to get out because they're chasing us. So the killer just throws Keenan out the window. How he survived, I don't know. How Otis can jump out of the window at 77 years old and not get any broken bones is something else.
He probably landed on Keenan.
No, Kel landed on Keenan. Like, no, we know Kel landed on Keenan. That's for damn sure. And I'm like, oh, I was like, Kel, why didn't you take like the two of them with you? Like, why didn't you take Psychopath and Killer with you? Like, you just left them there. But no, they got to get back to Good Burger. But oh yeah, and this is when they steal the ice cream truck. I'm like, oh my god! So you have 2 black guys and an Italian mafia guy stealing a vehicle. Thank you for doing that stereotype movie, you asshole.
This Grand Theft Auto sequel is really strange.
Yeah.
I guess Sweet Tooth finally went on a rampage and started throwing his ice cream instead of killing everybody.
Oh yeah, that too. Let's like that. This was before Grand Theft Auto came out. Like even 3, which was. So it's like, okay, we're just gonna throw ice cream at the people that are chasing us. Which, by the way, I don't know that there's any mental health professionals that are gonna be driving big ass trucks like that just to try to capture 2 patients. That's never happened before.
Let's remember, this is all cartoon logic.
And how there's like, okay, it's a high speed chase and there's no cops in the area. They could just get away with anything. This is definitely Grand Theft Auto right here. And then Kel's just like, okay, let's just throw ice cream at the guys. And then Keenan's like, great idea. And the accuracy on that, it's like, you're in the driver's seat. How are you automatically throwing the ice cream at pinpoint accuracy? I can get Kel doing it, but goddamn, even at a high-speed chase, how is Kel maintaining his stance when the car's moving like that?
Hey, why don't you get back there and start throwing ice cream?
Well, no, he was like... No, at first he was like, oh, hey, look, I found ice cream. Ed, this is no time for frozen treats.
Yeah, but he starts throwing it.
Yeah, but no, but it was Keenan's idea to actually throw it, and then Kel's like, okay, let's do it. And Otis is just like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, and
even
then
Otis too old for this shit.
Oh, and then let's also not forget, Sinbad gets a new mailbox, and then like and then of course the mental institution truck. They can't see out the windshield, and they just keep driving. Like, who does that?
Nuts, and breaks the new mailbox.
And it
and
breaks
like,
the
why,
mailbox.
Why?
And I swear to God, I felt like they almost killed Sinbad because he was right in the vicinity of the truck hitting the mailbox. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And of course they finally get there before like anybody has a chance to eat the shark poison sauce. Like, there's a point where Kel just runs right to an old lady and tackles her, which again is another which is another stereotype also. It's like a black man trying to go after an elderly white woman. Like, oh my God. It's like this movie can't get their racist stereotypes out of this movie. Like, Jesus.
Then they're high-fiving because of the fucking tackle.
Yeah, it's like, I just tackled some old lady. All right, Ed. I was like, oh, God. Jesus Christ. So then they finally got the... Oh, and then Otis just walks in. He's like, I need a hot jacuzzi.
Same. Don't we all?
So then they try to find a way to sneak into Mondo Burger. So they just do like the American Gladiators. Like, Kel just climbs up every single little thing until they get to the fucking chimney, which is a straw. And that's when they make the plan, like, okay, we're going to steal one of the cans, and then we're just going to go to the police department and then tell them that they've been using this shit. But then, of course, that plan backfires after Kel, like, decides to, like accidentally dump it all into the meat grinder with all the meat in there. It's like, oh, let me just dump all of it in here and then just have like big piles of burgers just explode everywhere. And even Keenan is like using like the ketchup and mustard guns to like go after the guys so that they can chase them up to the roof. Oh, and Kel's got the can, but it's empty, and they're all laughing at him, like, oh, you stole an empty can. He's like, Ed, you stole an empty can? He's like, wasn't empty when I found it.
And he was just over there winking like, uh-huh.
And I was like, that's actually kind of devilish to say. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's when, like, all of a sudden, like, the genius came on, and it's like, oh, at that point, if I was the director, I would have just had Keenan have a oh shit face.
I'll be honest, Kel is like a secret, like, villain waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah, I mean, hell, look what happened. The entire fucking building, it just explodes with burgers. Like, the entire, like, this is the thing, like, it's just like a fucking earthquake kicks in all of a sudden.
Here comes this giant-ass patty.
And then the patties are exploding, and then all of a sudden, like, people are just jumping through glass for no reason.
And here we go, our favorite man of the hour, Sinbad is back!
Oh yeah, Sinbad's got his car all fixed, by the way, and then of course the giant burger on top of the roof just comes flying down and crashes his car, because again, of course, we gotta do that.
Running gag.
Yep, running gag. Make the Black Panther guy miserable.
Why, God, why? The dude can't get a break either. It's his car, his mailbox.
But then they arrest Kurt. Here's the thing, like they arrest Kurt. It's like, oh, and it's like, okay, he's going to jail because of all the illegal food adage that they put in there. And it's like, oh, when you mess with Good Burger, you go in the grinder. And they're like, oh, enjoy prison, man.
Then they start doing that taunt.
Oh yeah, Kurt's in jail. Kurt's in jail. Kurt's in jail. Jail. And then of course the Sinbad's trying to get the burger off his car, and Keenan just comes up and says, "Hey Sinbad, here's half of the money that I owe you. Enjoy your car."
Help me! Oh.
Help me get the burger off. No, and Sinbad's like, no, I can fix it. I can fix my own car. I don't need your money anymore.
You can always sue Kurt for the fixing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Mondo Burger's gonna have to pay for the damages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which I'm surprised too. How does Mondo Burger not have security cameras? They could clearly show Kel in the kitchen, like putting all the liquid in there. They could literally just go and say, "Our competition tried to kill us all." But of course, since they didn't have security cameras. Oh, wait a minute! There's even fingerprints. They could just dust the fingerprints and see who had the bottle in his hand.
Because they probably didn't want to get away with someone's showing where the additives are going into. Didn't want to get caught.
Yeah, well then Kel reveals his master plan, which Keenan is like, "Wait a minute, you thought of all that?" Yeah. What do you think? I'm stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you might, but no.
Then Keenan's like, "This is."
Oh yeah, then Keenan just then rips up the contract finally, and just says, "Look, we're not going to do the contract anymore." And then Kel's like disappointed. It's like, "You don't want to be partners?" And then he's like, "Is it because I'm black?" It's like, whoa!
Why pull that card out all of a sudden?
Is it because I'm black?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god, Karen, you just can't say that.
I was like, asshole with the can't stop doing these stereotypes. But then again, here's the thing. NC thought that was like the funniest joke out of the whole thing, and I'm like, of course you would think that's funny. But I think Keenan also says that he's going to refund all of the money that he took from him too. So, but then like Kel automatically thinks that like Keenan like is just gonna leave, and he's like, "Ed, I'm not going anywhere, man."
He said,
"Oh."
Back to the restaurant they go. Put him up in the air, chanting, "Ed."
Yeah, because Ed's like, Ed's considered the hero of the whole thing, even though, and it's like, Keenan, you did nothing. Kel, you did everything. But then again, I think Keenan was just like, I'm just gonna have Kel have all the glory because he's the greatest guy in the world.
I want to say the ending line.
But it's just like it's like, okay, like there's gonna be like there was some things unresolved here, like okay. I was like, okay, the whole thing with Keenan and Monique, is that ever going to get resolved? No. Is the whole thing with them getting out of the mental institution going to get resolved? No.
This is Nickelodeon. Everything's happening.
Like, what about the ice cream truck being stolen? They stole an ice cream truck.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, the ice cream truck, the ice cream man knows exactly what they look like because it's like, hey, what are you doing? Stealing your truck.
Now they had to pay for all that ice cream they threw at the mental truck.
Yeah, not only causing damages to the truck and everything, like, holy shit. That's never going to get resolved.
And destruction of property.
Yep, property. There's a lot of property damage there.
And not only the fact that they caused accidents on the road, like there was a car accident that happened because they were like going in through traffic and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and let's also not bring up the fact the shark poison, that never got resolved. Like, is Kurt going to go into prison for the shark poison shit? Because Otis can testify to that. And then he's going to have to testify going to the mental institution. And then he's going to have to, like, yeah, we had to break out. Like, how did you do it? We stole an ice cream truck. What? Which, knowing them for the sequel, it's probably going to be even more bizarre. Like, I'm probably thinking they're going to probably do something even, like, even wilder.
They're going to steal 3 ice cream trucks this time. Just kidding.
No. knowing them, they probably won't do what Asshole tried to do and do all the racist stereotypes.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Good Burger, home with the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
And that's how the movie ends. That's how the way the movie began, and that's the way it ended. So hopefully it's the same deal with the sequel when it comes out.
Hey, if the sequel don't have "I'm a Dude, She's a Dude" song at the end, I'm gonna be pissed if it isn't there.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll have to bring Less Than Jake back from the dead, because I don't think they're even around anymore. Because I know that's the people that did the song with Kel. So hopefully they do a live performance of that or something. Yeah, well, hopefully I want to see a trailer. Like once the trailer comes out, then we'll know for sure.
I want to see all the members from all that from past.
Well, no, Amanda Bynes is not going to be in it. You know that.
Fine, just bring back Lori Beth. I want to hear that order thing again.
Yeah, Lori Beth is not going to be back. None of the guys that are going to be on all that are not going to be back for this. Maybe
I'm joking.
Maybe they'll get them back, but they won't be. Like it's just gonna be like weird cameos. It's like, oh yeah, that's that Pete and Pete guy, and that's all what they're probably gonna even get at this point. Like I know,
Schneider in it, I'll be fine.
Oh no, Asshole is gonna have nothing to do with it.
Didn't
Nothing to do with
Nickelodeon
it.
part ways with him?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but I heard he's fucking trying to get back into making shelves now. So
Of course
there you go.
Of course he is, because Asshole doesn't want to. Because Asshole wants to stay alive, but you know that we're
Hey,
not going to let that
asshole!
happen.
Don't fucking put your foot fetish in your stuff anymore.
Hey, Mr. Footman, stop going after teen girls, you fucking creep.
Mhm.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I also heard the whole thing about Drake Bell too. Stay away from it.
Yes, Asshole does not have a good track record. Why would Paramount want to have him for hopefully their cash grab with Good Burger 2? They're not going to do that.
I definitely want Kurt Bett as a cameo.
I mean, hey, they could get him out. Listen, if Joe Pesci can come out of retirement, this guy certainly can.
Yeah, but Joe Pesci is actually a good actor.
And so is that guy. I mean, let's be real about it. I mean, hey, he hammed it up like he was supposed to. Like, and that's why Kurt was so memorable in that movie.
It makes you think what Kurt is doing in 2023. What the hell is he doing? Probably homeless, sitting outside of Good Burger, yelling at it, throwing garbage at this.
Yeah, saying about how much they ruined his life for some stupid shit.
Yeah, when he finds out that they're going to try to revive Good Burger, he's going to try to get revenge by trying to get them out of business. I don't know how he'll do it, but he'll do it.
See if that guy still acts.
Like I said, if he's in retirement, they can get him out of it.
Well, I know he had a car accident and he quit acting for a while and then started back, but I'm not sure if he's still acting.
All right, let me look it up. Wow, Abe Vigoda got third billing. Right behind Keenan and Kel. He got third billing. Because of course they're going to do that.
Stop acting.
Wow, Sinbad didn't even get top billing. I'm trying to find it. Oh, this guy. Oh, Echo.
Sorry.
Oh wow, he hasn't done anything since 2000.
Yeah, he only did 4 roles. It seems like Good Burger was his only movie.
Yeah, he was just in a bunch of TV shows as like a special guest star. Yeah, it seems like to be a lot of sci-fi stuff too. Oh, Echo again.
Sorry. It seems like every time I'm on my browser, it does that.
Oh yeah, that's why you gotta move from the browser over to like actually downloading Discord onto your desktop.
It is on my desktop. That's the thing.
Oh.
You have the YouTube tab muted, or
I don't know.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get a trailer soon because I would love to actually see what they do with the movie. Because it'll be. I'm glad they're only putting it on Paramount Plus. Because no way that this thing needs to be in a theater. It's not like people need to go to people. Don't even need to go to theaters anymore.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
today's kids don't even know what the hell Good Burger is, and only their parents.
It's on Paramount Plus now, so they'll know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, bud.
And okay, so next time around, I think I'm gonna go see the Little Mermaid movie this weekend.
oh, really?
You can tell us how it is. 'Cause I'm not sure if I want to go see it.
I know
Not
I
from-
didn't really don't. Cause like the animals look so ugly, and they gave one of the fish fur.
Dude, the whole mermaid tail, the whole CGI thing kind of messes with my head a bit. Like, my
Mine
brain wants to
too.
say it's real, but I know it looks too fake at the same time. It just, like,
Uncanny Valley is what you're going for, right?
exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Uncanny Valley.
Hey, look, I'm just there for the performances. Like the visual stuff doesn't really bother me all that much. The only thing that really
You're just
bothers
like
me
you're
is
in it for the ride.
well, no, it's the one thing I'm concerned with is like, okay, are you like the visual? I mean, the visual effects people should get unionized, just like the writers and the actors. Like once that gets kicked in for them, everything will start looking better. Because, like I said, all these production companies, they're just getting them for cheap and then asking them to do it on tight deadlines, and that's why everything looks the way it does. Because they're not even really putting in a real effort. They're just doing it. It's like, well, we got a timeline.
In
You
that
got to get
case,
it done.
Don't like why not like why not encourage it? Be like, okay, you don't want to put effort into your production. I'm not going to give you any effort with my wallet.
Well, they don't care because it's all about like, here, just put this out there because the IP itself is going to make the money. Just put it out there so that we can get it out as quickly as possible. It's just like when video game company. It's like when the whole ET thing came out on Atari. They said, "Can you get this done in 12 weeks? Because we want to get this out during Christmas." So it's that whole capitalism model. It's like try to get this out as quickly as possible because we got the summer coming up, and the summer movie is when we make the most money budget-wise for our movies.
And what happened? E.T. destroyed the fucking video game market until Nintendo stepped in.
Yeah. Which I would love to see a movie on that.
Oh, me too. I would like to watch that.
Yeah, because apparently the guy who created E.T., he made it all by himself, and he only had like weeks to make this thing, and he was working.
There we
all
go,
by
Joey.
What?
I was about to say that could be our next week's subject.
Oh, that guy and the whole ET thing? Okay, I'm going to have to... I feel bad for that guy, too, because they gave him a rough deadline, and from what I understand, like, that guy couldn't live. Like, couldn't even enjoy his life. That guy was, like, coding in his own brain while he was driving and while he was having food with, like, friends and family. Like, the guy couldn't even, like, take time out to enjoy his life. He was constantly in coding mode, trying to get this out. And trying to impress Steven Spielberg, because he had to impress Spielberg in order to get this game accepted. If Spielberg didn't like it, he was like, okay, you can't get this out there.
And what happened? This poor guy, they blamed for ages about the whole, it ruined the video game market in the early years.
Yeah, because
I didn't even know the name of the guy. Just more blame on Atari.
Yeah, it's Atari's fault for giving him such a short deadline and saying, hey, can you get this done in less than 3 months? Or something along those lines.
Actually, what really destroyed the fucking whole, like, video game market during that time was too much shovelware and all that shit.
Yeah, that
well,
too.
no, well, it was also the fact
there was
that...
no quality control and...
Well, yeah, because there was, like... Because a lot of companies were just taking, like, the game boards and then just making them more challenging and calling them by different names.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how they were making their money back then. They would just take game boards of something like Space Invaders, and they would just up the difficulty on the game board, and they would just call it something else. and it's like, oh hey, this is how, and they made like 6 figures out of that shit, or like millions of dollars out of it. Like that's just what they were doing.
There was a game
back
that was
then.
called Sunday Fun Day, and wait, no, that was NES. Sorry. There's this other game thing that they had where it was like bachelorette party, and they were like having it resold as other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like only one thing that fucking did all this. To the video game crash is a lot of things.
And it's still a model that they use today. They just do it with a lot more regulation on it, because back then it wasn't really regulated.
Yep.
But yeah, that's something to talk about. If I see the Little Mermaid movie, I'll talk about it, because, you know, as for what I understand, like Halle Berry did a fantastic job with her performance. Everybody, like all the actors who have had experience said that she actually exceeded expectations from them, because they didn't really think she was going to do much acting wise, because she's just known as a singer. But when they saw her like combining her performance with her singing, it's like, oh, she's actually making this her own. She's not trying to carbon copy what the
Jodie
other.
Benson.
Yeah, she's not trying to carbon copy what the original actress did with Little Mermaid. Like, she's actually making it her own. Because from what I understand, when I saw the trailer, it was mostly Ariel in this new version is like, oh, humans are a different species. I am interested in humans. Whereas in the original, it's like,
That was literally what she was like in the original, bro.
But no, she was just like, no, but she was like more like, oh, hey, like, who is this like cute little Eric guy? But in this one, it's like, oh, it's like, it was just like more of an interest in like what humans were and everything. It's like kind of that whole Star Trek vibe type of deal. Like, it does.
I'll just say it. I know a lot of people is going to be like judging this and comparing it to its previous. Let's face it, and someone's pointed this out to me as well. We're a different generation. This is for the newer generation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's never going to satisfy the other generation.
Even more for Disney to like keep their IP stuff without doing anything original. That's what I'm.
That's expected out of any like movie studio. Like,
well, I'm about to say, like, no one ever is going to match up to the original, like Jodie Benson.
Oh no, so there are people saying that Barry is actually exceeding over Jodie Benson. So
I'm just saying, everybody just go in and have an open mind about it. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I just want you to like tell me if it's good, because I'm thinking about taking my nieces.
I should have gotten. You should have your burial taken care of now.
But like, I didn't even like the original Little Mermaid when it came out, because I thought it was just like too. I don't know. I just didn't feel like the characters were fleshed out really well.
I loved the Little Mermaid as a kid, but as I got older, and I just thought Ariel was more of a brat as I got older, as I connected more well.
Didn't they also like expand on it with the cartoon back then?
Yeah, like she got more character development in the cartoon, and the cartoon was great. But like the movie, and then the sequel when it came out, it's like, I'm not going to expose my daughter to like where I came from and everything. Like, I was like, I only want my daughter to know that she's human and that she lived on land. But it's like, no, your daughter's has got parts of you in her personality. She's gonna want to know about where she came from.
As I remember the thing, like, we had Ursula's sister threaten like to kill her and all that shit. That's why they like were trying to protect her.
Yeah,
by blocking that.
Which didn't.
Yeah, Morgana.
Which didn't happen anyway, because she ended up going there anyway. So it's like because again, she could be accused of doing the same thing that her father did, like trying to protect her from going out there with the humans and everything. Like, okay,
exactly.
Like, her mom get killed, and that's why like he was that way.
What?
In the third one, her mom got killed. The father banned music basically in the kingdom in her first like so and so years. And
but let's not pretend that some of his personality didn't also influence Ariel when it comes to her kids. So it's like,
oh,
okay.
I fucking agree. I fucking agree with you.
Yeah, because then what was it? Like her daughter's like, oh, I want to go see what's in the ocean. And Ariel's like, hell no. And it's like, well, fuck you, Mom. I'm going there anyway. And that's how that whole movie was.
Mm-hmm. It's just a little sad watching the second movie, seeing like Flounder growing up. Ariel has fucking like wrinkle marks and shit. I'm like, what?
I was like, well, I mean, this is like, this is what the thing about.
Skincare? You're supposed to be a fucking princess.
The Sebastian's like, this is what would have happened if you would have stayed underwater.
It's so weird.
There's this comment I remember someone making. It was like, Ariel and all of her sisters represent like the seas, and then someone's like, what does Ariel's mom represent? And then someone said the Dead Sea.
Oh, God.
Oh,
F you.
What
like,
the fuck? That's dark shit there, dude.
I mean, I kind of because it's the same thing with Aladdin for me. Like, I didn't like the original Aladdin, and now I don't like it even more. Now that I found out that, Guilford Godfrey did the whole aristocrats joke, and it's like I can't watch this movie now because of that. Or Robin Williams doing his stand-up routine and like orgasming with the water bottle. I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, this was the genie. I mean, I enjoyed the live action one a lot more, to be honest with you.
Alright, Atina is the Bering Sea. Alana is the Black Sea. Adela is the Mediterranean Sea. Aquata is the Coral Sea. Arista is the White Sea. Andrina is the Caribbean Sea. And Ariel is the Red Sea.
Of course. Ha ha ha.
Oh, wait.
What the hell that makes Triton?
Oh, wait. You guys know how long it took me to work out that he has 7 daughters because there are 7 seas.
Yes.
So just...
That's why pirates always want to try to rule over them. It's like, arr, I got rule over the 7 seas. All right. Well, we've gone way over time, so let's end it here. We got way too much in the movie talk, but hey, that's what we do here. Yeah. So if I could try to find out more information about how E.T. came into the bits, I'll try to do that. It's the Little Mermaid will also depend if my niece and nephew want to go see it, or if they just want to wait until it comes out on Disney Plus, which is kind of like their MO anyway. So we'll see.
Might be best for Disney Plus because then you just relax at home with a good popcorn and all the snacks you want.
Then again, Disney Plus are probably like trying to make everyone like charge everyone $30.
No, I mean that's what movie tickets are nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to wait till Dungeons and Dragons got on Paramount Plus before I finally decided to watch it. So.
All right, guys, we need to get going because I have a phone call.
All right.
Yeah, I got stuff to do too.
Okay. Bye.